Hey there, class. It's me, Faisal, coming at you April 20th, live from wonderful quarantine land. Today your reflections are due, and thank you for those of you who have already handed them in. If you haven't handed them in, don't worry, you can still give them to me. Just please give them to me as soon as possible, right? So remember, you're only answering 3 of those questions. I've already gotten answers from probably about more than half of you. So I just need a couple more, and that will be done. So I will be emailing you your grades for the reflection assignment throughout the week, and I'll also email your participation mark, which is generally good. Those of you who sent me stuff, well done. You have all performed magnificently. So, this week is the last week of our course, right, where things are coming to an end. So, that brings us to our CPT, which before the world ended was going to be a presentation. But, well, now there's no more class, right, and everything like that. And so it's going to have to be a little bit different. So, I want to keep it the basics of it the same, right? And for those of you who were there on the last day, way back in March break, you might remember me talking about this assignment already. So let me first talk about what it is, and then we'll talk about how we're going to do it. So, first of all, the main question you're trying to answer is this question. What makes Canada into the country it is today, right? It's sort of been the whole point of my entire course. So, I've given you 30 different topics here. Confederation, residential schools, European settlement, trench warfare, Vimy Ridge and Arthur Currie, Famous 5, Person's Case, Great Depression, Holocaust, Battle of Britain, William Lyon Mackenzie, who was our Prime Minister during World War II, women in factories during World War I and World War II, the Normandy landings, Japanese internment, well, I gave you a lot, the United Nations, I should probably add peacekeeping to that. But, yeah, the United Nations and peacekeeping. I'll even put it right now. And peacekeeping. There we go. The baby boom, the threat of nuclear war, the CBC, hockey, the Korean War, Lester Pearson and the Suez Crisis, Pierre Trudeau, the healthcare system. I just added that one last time because I gave my thing on healthcare. The FLQ and Quebec separatism. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms, post-war immigration and refugee policy, Canada and Rwanda, Canada and Bosnia, Canada and Afghanistan, and Canada in Somalia. So, those are all the topics you can pick from, and you can pick anything, right? You guys are not even in the same room anymore, so if you all end up picking, I don't know, deciding you want to do Pierre Trudeau, right? If 10 people do Pierre Trudeau, it's fine, right? Because, you know, we're not even in the same room. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, I don't mind. Whatever topic you want to pick, you're going to pick that topic, and you're going to be using this topic to tell us how that topic made Canada into the country that it is today, right? And you might ask, well, how do I do that? So, the presentation is going to be about, 8 minutes or so, 8 or 10. But it is going to go as follows. There are 3 parts, right? Part 1, identification, right? So you're not going to teach the class, you're going to teach me, because it's me. But you're going to tell me about your chosen topic, what you should know about the issue, and what it consisted of. So, if you're doing Pierre Trudeau, you should tell me who's this Pierre Trudeau, when was he born, where's he from, what are some of the details, maybe when he became Prime Minister and everything like that. What makes this important, right? So why was this person significant, or why was this thing significant, right? So tell me the details, right? And you should also have the dates, right? So don't forget the dates for this section, right? So if you're doing something like, the Normandy landings, you should know when the Normandy landings took place. If you're doing, trench warfare, then you should have the days for World War I, right? So make sure you have the dates, right? So that's part 1, right? Roughly 2 minutes on that. Give me the who, what, where, when, and why, and how, right? So just the basic information. Then part 2, right, is going to be about 3 minutes, is where you describe to the class why this issue was important at the time. Try to explain what makes this issue significant for Canada's growth as a nation. So basically, why was this important for the time it was taking place in, right? So if you're doing something like the Great Depression, well, you're going to be talking, well, at that time, many people lost their jobs, and they lost their savings, and they lost this, they lost that, right? So if you're talking about the Great Depression, you'll be talking about what was the effect at that particular time, right? At the very moment where it happened, right? So if you want to talk about Pierre Trudeau, you'd say, well, in the 70s, this was important for this reason, right? So tell me why it was important when it happened. Okay, so that's what's going on in part 2, right? And the questions to answer: how did the issue change Canada at the time? What made this a significant moment for the country? Was this a change in the way Canada did things? Does it show something significant about Canadian culture? Right? So all of those questions are meant to basically answer that question of why was it important at that time. And then part 3, tell us how you feel this issue impacts Canada's identity today. Try to explain how this event in history is important for our understanding of the country. So part 2 is for back then, but part 3, impact, is for now. Why is this topic still important today? How does it affect the way we think of Canada as a country? What makes this important right now, right? As in, right in the section 2020, right? How is that issue still important? All right. So, in all, it's supposed to be around 8 minutes, right? And it's going to be worth about 20% of your grade. So that's the way this is going to work. So that's what you have to do. Now, originally, let me go down here. Originally, I was going to make it so that you would have to also do PowerPoint slides on your presentation topic, right? So because of our situation here, they are trying to get laptops out to people, but right now we don't have any, right? So some people are, using their phones to contact me. So I know at least one of you has already done your slides, right? And I don't want to say, that was a waste of time or whatnot. So if you did slides, think of it as bonus marks, right? But the slides I'm going to make optional. You don't have to make slides for this. And in fact, you can't really do it anyhow over the internet unless you want to make a video like mine, right? So the slides are optional. I mainly am interested in the presentation. So that's what you have to do. You have to talk for 8 minutes about your topic, right? That's the task. Now, you might be asking, okay, I can do that, but how am I going to do that? All right, very good question. So we have several options. The first option is Skype, right? I have a Skype account, and I can add you to that Skype account, right? And we can do it through that, right? So if you use Skype, we can use that. The other option is we can have a Google Meetup, right? So we could use Google Video, and we can talk through that. Okay, so that's another option as well. So if you like Google Meetup, then that's totally fine. Or if you like Google Video, that's just fine, right? We can use that. You could also, if you want to be like me, you can just make a video of yourself doing the presentation, right? You can make it as fancy as you want even. Put it on YouTube or put it on Vimeo or any other website. Or if you can, email it to me, sure, send it, right? Though it might be too big if you do it that way, right? So bear that in mind. But you can put it up. By the way, you can make a private YouTube video, right? So if you're afraid of people on the internet seeing you, right, you can make a private YouTube video. Let me show you how. So you see here, when I upload a video to YouTube, right, there's an option, public, unlisted, or private. right? So if you select private, only I would be able to see it, right? So you don't have to worry about, weirdos on the internet looking at you, by the way. Who knows what weirdos are looking at me, by the way? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Anyway. Oops, wrong. This one. Yes, here it is. So that's an option 2, right? You can put a video on YouTube. The fourth option is, I think, the last resort, right? If you can't do anything else, right? If you can't get on Skype or Google, or you can't upload a video somewhere, if you can't do any of those, then option 4 is for me to call you, right? So I already did call a bunch of you when I was trying to get everyone ready for the course, right? So this one should only be used if the rest is impossible, right? Because if I call you, I can't see you, and so I can't really say anything about body language or anything like that, right? So, but that being said, I can call you, right? I do have a phone, so that is very possible. And, that can be a way to do your presentation too. So you just do it over the phone, right? Whatever works, right? And then option 5 is some other way. If you have another thing that you would prefer to use, right? I don't know what other thing. But if you have another thing that you would prefer for a video call, right? Just say so. Do note that we cannot use Facebook or WhatsApp, right? Because those are for personal contact only, right? As a teacher, I would get in trouble if I were giving out my WhatsApp or my Facebook to students, right? That kind of is weird. So another way, right? If you have another way to get in touch with me, then by all means, you can use that, right? Just tell me what it is. So what I would like to do is figure out what you guys are able to do, right? So here's what I want to do. I've got this form that I'm including in the email, right? And what it is I don't know why it's asking for put your email address, you put your name, and you're going to say, for my presentation, I would like to use, and you tell me the best way you can give me this presentation, right? So tell me what you want. And then over here, it's got the time. Now, the last day for us to do this is Tuesday, April 28th, right? That's the last day of the quad, right? If you want to do it at any time before that, just let me know. I'm thinking the first day can be on Thursday, April 23rd, right? Either morning or afternoon. Guys, I'm not a morning person. I would really prefer the afternoon, but I'm letting you take whatever time you want, right? Just tell me when you are available. If you want to do it in the evening, we can, but, it would be a bit... Well, no, I can, right? So let's just say morning or afternoon, and then I'll get in touch with you at a specific time, right? And we'll make arrangements to do Skype or Google or YouTube or anything like that. So the important thing is that you fill out this form and tell me what you want to do. All right? So, again, wrong one. Let's close that. The presentation is supposed to be about one of these things, right? You're supposed to talk for 8 minutes about identification, importance, and impact, right? I'm trying to make it nice and simple. You don't have to make any slides, but if you did already, then by all means, send them to me, and I'll give you an even higher mark. So by all means, but if you don't have the ability to make slides right now because you don't have a laptop, or computer access, then that's okay. We are making those optional, and that's how we will proceed, guys. So for now, fill out this form just for me, and I hope that you all had a good weekend, and I hope that things are going well for you all in quarantine, right? Maybe things will start to open up again in May, maybe not. Let's keep listening to our government, and let's keep, staying safe. All right, everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow with some more talk about this presentation assignment. Send me any questions you have through email. Thanks, guys.